Okay, can everybody hear me in Zoom?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And you can see me on YouTube and such too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And okay, can everybody hear me in Zoom? Who is that? Okay, that's not me. Okay, give me one more. I want to log into. I'm going to have to log into this too. So share. I found out how to share the PowerPoint with you guys on Zoom, but I have to log into one of the other platforms, which I will have that ready now on the other computer, which is, go to here, view my channel. Okay, that's me live on, there I am. But let me switch to Zoom. Okay, we're ready. We're getting better at this new stream program we're using, this new streaming process. I'm getting better at it. Just bear with me. Inna alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Welcome to the first class for tonight. And this is our class on Aqidah. And we have been studying, and we are studying, and will continue to study from the trilogy that's written by Sheikh Karim Abu Zaid. For those of you who do not have the books, you can go to Amazon.com. Type in Diluting El Wala Wal Barra by Sheikh Karim Abu Zaid. And you will see volume 1 and 2. For those of you who are new, you need to order both volumes. We are still in volume 1, which is the blue book. And we're in the second part 2 of volume 1, which is really an introduction to the second volume. These 8 chapters in the second part of Diluting Wala Better, they serve as an introduction as to how, as Muslims, we can establish allegiance amongst each other in a living in a non-Muslim environment, a non-Muslim land. For example, most of you listening to me are not living in a Muslim land. You're living in a non-Muslim land. And even if you were living in a Muslim land, you still, have to learn how to live together, not only with the non-Muslims and get along with them without allowing their beliefs, to compromise ours, but also how to get along with one another, because we're supposed to be brothers and sisters in faith. So I really love these books. Sheikh Kareem Abu-Zayd did an excellent job breaking it down in English, because it's very hard to find English books that are detailed as these are. And even such, you cannot teach yourself. This is why the prophet said you can never learn this deen on your own. You have to learn from the people in knowledge, because even though these books are very well written in English, most of you are not going to understand what's going on unless you understand truly La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. And most of us don't. Most of us don't understand that testimony of faith and what it implies, what it means. Okay. So in this second part of volume 1, we've been discussing how to show allegiance to Allah. We also discussed how to show allegiance to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam while living in these non-Muslim lands, without compromising our faith and our practice. And today what we're going to do is speak about how the allegiance to the Muslims, it also entails obeying the people of authority amongst us. Even though, for example, America is not a Muslim land, this is why you should have not been voting for Obama. I told y'all, we ain't supposed to participate in no presidential elections here, because Allah says it's haram. He says it's haram. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said a non-believer can never be a ruler or guardian over a believer. That hadith is authentic. It's Bukhari and Muslim. It's haram. It's haram. Period. Dot. I don't care what some sheikh told you, what some Islam Q&A said. Can't nobody overrule what Allah said. That's it. Final. So you shouldn't have been voting, period, for not for any presidents, not for any rulers over you. Voting for a garbage man, that's something different. Voting on who's going to take out the garbage, who's going to represent this council, that's something different. But to represent you, to be guardian over you, ruler over you, a non-Muslim can never be a ruler over us. Okay? You shouldn't have been participating. Look what happened, because you did. All right? But anyway, what we're supposed to do are obey. Yes, brother HQ, I do. Yes, I answer questions all the time. So yes, you can share. Please, by the way, guys, share our this website, my YouTube channel and Facebook and all of that. Share us with the Muslims on your platform. I'm always answering Q&A. We have the Sunnah followers. I have my Ask Sister Layla live class every Friday from 9 to 11, where I answer your questions. Plus, I answer your questions after each class too. So yeah, share it. Feel free to share it with the other sisters. Yeah, and also, again, guys, even though we're living in a non-Muslim country, a non-Muslim environment, we have to show allegiance to each other. And that also entails obeying the people of authority, obeying the people of authority amongst us. And that's what we're going to be focusing on tonight. So give me a second to set it up. And we just learned, I'm using a different streaming process. So bear with me. I've been figuring it out on my own, and I figured it out. Give me a second. Voila, better. This is how I screen share. Okay, hold on. Now I got to go back to Zoom, which I'm at. Go back to here. Did I freeze? No, I didn't. Okay, I got that open. Now, for the people on Zoom, for you to see my PowerPoint, I discovered with the kids today that I have to log in and do this on another computer. So inshallah, you'll see. People on Zoom. Oh, okay. Let me stop the screen share for a second. Okay, hold on. Let me go back to you guys here. This is what you guys should be seeing on YouTube. Now, I'm going to need someone in Zoom to speak like they are a human being. Can you people in Zoom see my PowerPoint?
Yes, we can.
I'm talking about see it in the Zoom room.
No, we can't.
Okay.
We can't.
Okay, well, I'll need somebody to pay attention because you should now. In a few seconds here. You know, the lag on, there's lag for you guys on YouTube. There it is. There, it should be popping up. Is it popping up for y'all now?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, give me a second. I'm going to take this down. I learned how to make it big screen. Okay. Let me go to here. See how we have to figure it out. When you're a genius, guys, you can figure out anything. They haven't figured it out, but I did. Okay, inshallah. Here we go. I'm going to click this. Wow. See, I can still use my PowerPoint the way I like. So today we're going to speak about how, as Muslims, our allegiance to one another also entails obeying the Muslim people of authority. And let me also emphasize too, that doesn't mean that we break the laws in the non-Muslim land. We have to obey the laws. We live in America. We follow the laws. You have to have, for example, I'm going to answer your question now, sister. To live in America, to drive a car, you are required to have car insurance. If you don't have car insurance and you get in an accident, you're going to jail, or you're going to pay a fine. So we have no choice. You have to follow the laws, obey the laws. So you have to have car insurance. In America, if you don't have health insurance, you ain't going to get taken care of. You need health insurance. Okay, so we obey the laws, okay, in America. But in regards to obeying the people of authority, you know, as Muslims, we have to obey the people of authority in our Muslim communities. We don't participate. We're not supposed to participate in presidential elections unless there was a Muslim running for president, which that ain't happening. Okay? But because a non-Muslim can never be an authority over us, a guardian over us, a ruler over us. But we do obey our imams and our rulers in our communities. And that's what we're going to be speaking about today. And I did post it up for you all, chapter 5 of part 2, which is pages 305 to 307. So take your books out. That's what we're covering. You guys should have read, because there will be a quiz. Okay? I want everyone to ponder this. Allah says, in the interpretation of the meaning, O you who have believed. What does have believed mean? Allah is saying, O you who have converted to this religion, or O you who was born and raised upon this religion and claim to believe in it. O you who have believed, you've taken the shahada, You have already declared, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Every time you make salat, for those of you who are like me, who've been Muslim all your life, every time we pronounce that tashahud, we're reaffirming our shahada. So that's who Allah is speaking to, all of us who have already testified to believe in him. He said, oh, you who have believed, obey Allah. Obey the messenger and obey those in authority amongst you. So all of us who profess to be Muslims, this is not a question. This is a command. This is a command from your Lord. It ain't a request. It's a command. Allah is commanding us, just like Allah commands you women to cover your bodies when you leave your homes. Allah commands you brothers to grow your beard and provide and maintain your families. Well, Allah is commanding all of us, women and men, to obey him, obey the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and obey those who are in authority amongst us. This is a crucial aspect of our way of life. It's a command. It's something that we have to do, whether you like it or not. But it comes with a catch. First of all, we have to recognize who are the people of authority amongst us. Well, as the children in the Sunnah Kids program talked about today, your parents. Your parents, they're the people of authority. The imam of the masjid, he's a person of authority. Your teachers are people of authority, okay? But that's the first catch. Understand who the people of authority are. And secondly, as long as they're not telling you to do something that goes against what Allah said. For you sisters who are married, your husbands are the people of authority over you. Your husband, obedience to him is it. No longer, I want the sisters to understand, if once you get married, obedience to your mother and father doesn't count no more. Your mother and your father are not guardians over you after you've been married. Your husband is. Your husband is to be obeyed even over your mother. I want you sisters to recognize that. You obey your husband over your mother, over your father, over your brother. Y'all understand that, sisters? That's the reality. You don't like it? Take it up on the prayer rug with Allah. Okay? I didn't make the laws. I'm just a person that teaches them. So, but it comes with a catch. As long as that person of authority isn't telling you to do something that contradicts what Allah says. That's where a lot of you sisters don't know how to draw the line. Your husband is to be obeyed over your mother, over your father. But if your husband told you to remove your hijab, you don't obey him. Because Allah says you can't remove it. If your husband tells you that you cannot seek knowledge of this religion, you don't obey him. You have a teacher that's teaching you this religion, who's breaking this deen down to you in plain, simple English, who's basing all her teachings on the Quran and the Hadith. You don't obey your husband. You tell your husband, you can't stop me from learning my deen the correct way, because this is a command from my Lord. If you don't like the person teaching, that's your problem. Perhaps you dislike something that Allah brings good through. So that's where we lose it as women. We don't know how to draw the line with your husband. You don't obey him if he's telling you to do something that contradicts what Allah says. And for the children, if your parents tell you, don't wear hijab, don't pray, don't go to the mosque, there's no obedience to them either. So that's the condition. We obey those in authority as long as they're not telling us to do something that contradicts what Allah says. And by the way, let me share. Somebody on YouTube left a message for me asking me, can I put the numbers of hadith? I tell you, brothers and sisters, all the time, the hadiths were not revealed in numbers. We're not Sufis. The prophet didn't say number 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, 10. Allah said, thou shalt not smoke cigarettes. No, we don't, that ain't it. When we, people of knowledge, learn the hadiths, we memorize them by heart, their meaning. And those, they have no numbers. The numbers are what American writers or translators put in their books so you can keep track of something. But that is not part of the hadith. The hadith is not a number. So never ask lailanasheeba to give you a number. I have memorized every hadith from Bukhari, every hadith from Muslim, and every hadith from Muwatta by heart. And they are not numbers. Okay? So when I give you the hadith, all I need to do is give you the source. The source is not a number. The source is the book, Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi, Dawood, Majah. That's the source, not numbers. When you guys ask for numbers, you're uneducated. And it kind of frustrates us because we're like, who taught them this nonsense? I gave you the source. That's it. All right. So this verse of the Quran, this is the Quran, by the way. This verse emphasizes the importance of obedience to Allah, obedience to his messenger, and those in authority over us. It also serves as a reminder of obedience's central role in our way of life. And also this verse emphasizes the need for us to obey the people of authority, but again, only if they are people who are, number one, not telling us to do something that contradicts the law, and also the person of authority has to be a person that's basing what they say on Quran and authentic hadith, not a fatwa, not an imam, which is what we have today. That's a big problem. All right? Listen to what the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said. He said, obedience is only in that which is good. This ain't no number. Hadiths are not revealed in numbers. The Prophet didn't use numbers. What's the source? The source of this hadith is Sahih Muslim. Okay? The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said obedience is only to that which is good. And this hadith serves as a reminder that obedience should not go past anything that contradicts the teachings of him or Allah. Does everybody understand that? So that's the dalil. This is the proof that I obey my husband only as long as he is telling me to do that which is good. If he's telling me to do that which is bad, there's no obedience to him. You don't want me to learn the deen. You don't want me to learn the deen correctly. I'm not obeying you in that. Okay? I'm going to learn the deen correctly from a person that is breaking it down to me, whereas it makes sense to me. How can you brothers tell? This is a sister with a question. How can you brothers tell a woman, you brothers come to America, you marry American Muslim women converts. These women don't speak Arabic. You're going to tell your wife you don't want her to listen to anyone who doesn't speak Arabic. How is she going to understand what they're talking about? That's nincompoopish. You can't tell her not to listen to nobody unless they're speaking Arabic. She's not going to understand what they're saying, and there's no obedience to you. She doesn't have to obey you in that. In fact, she shouldn't obey you because she'll never learn her deen. She'll never understand this religion correctly because she's just listening to people mutter gibberish to her. Okay? You sisters got to think and wake up. All right? You don't obey him in that. Also, another form of loyalty to the believers. Not only do we obey the people of authority, as long as they're not contradicting what Allah commands us or the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but also we offer guidance to each other. We're supposed to assist each other, advise each other. And we do that, as the children talked about today, by doing charitable actions. Like the kids were saying in their class today, helping one another, fulfill their needs. Helping give guidance and advice to one another. Listen to what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. He said the religion is sincere goodwill. The people said, goodwill to whom? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, to Allah, to his book, to his messenger, and the leaders of the Muslim and the common people. What's the source? What's the source? It's not a number. The source is Bukhari and Muslim. You'll find this hadith in Bukhari and Muslim. Subhanallah. All right. This hadith highlights the importance of having sincere goodwill in Islam. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is emphasizing that this goodwill should be directed towards Allah, the Quran, the Prophet Muhammad, the leaders of the Muslims, and the regular believers too. Okay? It also emphasizes the importance of maintaining positive relationships with Allah and the other Muslims while showing respect for the people of authority, our parents, the imams, our teachers in the Muslim community. So again, if we follow the laws and rules that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam put in effect for us through Allah, then we would be happy, not happy, but content with each other, even in our non-Muslim lands. Okay? Remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the believers are like bricks of a building, strengthening one another. And he put his fingers together. What's the source? What's the source? What's the source? Sahih Muslim. It ain't no numbers. Y'all better get out of that number crap. This ain't no Sufism. All right? So what does this hadith mean? This hadith means that as Muslims, each one of us strengthen each other. As my cousin Mukhtar was speaking about in his khutbah this Friday. How many of you listened to it? When one Muslim in the community is hurting, we're all supposed to empathize for him. When one of the Muslims in the community is going through a hardship, it should impact us all. And we should all want to help each other, work together and support each other. We should want the best for each other. We should want the whole community to be educated properly about Islam. Why do I stream? Why am I streaming all over the place like I'm doing? Because I want to reach out to as many Muslims around the world as I can and teach them Islam in its truthfulness with the correct understanding of those companions instead of mathab, instead of fatwa online, instead of my shape. So these hadiths that we talked about emphasize the importance of having a positive relationship with each other, supporting one another, and showing solidarity, which is something that we don't show. Having solidarity with each other and with our leaders. Okay? Listen to this hadith. Jarir ibn Abdullah. He said, I gave the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam a pledge of allegiance. I pledged to establish the prayer, to pay the zakat, and to advise other Muslims. When he speaks about the pledge, he's talking about how when a person converted to Islam, they would give their allegiance to him. And we don't do that today. There's some imams or rulers, leaders out there that think you're supposed to give bayah to them. No. When a Mahdi comes, we'll do it then. When there's a leader over the entire Muslim nation, then that's when we pledge our allegiance to them. When the Mahdi comes, we will pledge allegiance to him. And it's called a pledge because both parties are committing, to be united as one. And there are three things that is mentioned in this hadith that signify what we're pledging to. Number one, the rights of Allah. And what is the right of Allah? It's to establish the prayer. Number two, we're emphasizing rights to each other. What are the rights to each other? To help each other, to give charity to those who are deserving of it. And we're also signifying the legal right to advise one another. Advising every Muslim is essential, regardless of their background or circumstances. As one of the companions said, a person will never have true faith or belief in Allah until they love for their brother what they love for themselves. What you want for yourself, what you want others to do for you, you should want to do that for the other Muslims in your community. Okay? However, we have to understand that this type of allegiance only applies to Muslims, not non-Muslims. So we have to be careful. You don't go around pledging allegiance to the United States of America. That's why we don't do that in school. We don't pledge allegiance to a flag. This is why you Muslims are not supposed to be joining the non-Muslim armies. You're pledging your life. You're pledging to die and defend the principles, the Constitution and principles of the United States. We don't pledge that. Our loyalty is supposed to be towards each other, to Allah, to the Quran, to the Prophet Muhammad, not to anything else, especially if it's opposing the teachings of Islam. Also, we have another hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, none of you will be a true believer until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. Want for your brother what you want for yourself. You want people to help you in your time of need. You don't want people to talk about you and your family in a negative way. So you're not going to do that to others. So now we get to the next part to see how well you guys understood what I just discussed. I'm going to give you a quiz. The quiz is only 3 questions, 3 scenarios. And the questions I put together today are based on the questions that the sisters in this new Muslim group have asked me. And now that I've did today's class, let's see if you sisters can answer the questions. First question, your husband is to be obeyed. He tells you he does not want you listening to Sunnah followers and refers you to another website. You must obey him and stop coming to Sunnah followers and go to the other website. Is this statement true or false? Get on the mic because I can't see. Just take the mic. Your husband doesn't want you coming to Sunnah followers to learn the religion. So instead he tells you go to Sufism or Bloblylism.com and learn. You have to
Well,
obey him. True or false?
False.
false.
Why
You
is it
don't have
false?
you don't have to obey him. And it's the teaching is based on Quran and Sunnah. It's authentic, and it would lead. It's going towards verifiable information and studies. You stick with that. You don't just go over something that you're not familiar with and study with
Exactly.
that.
Do you sisters get it? I don't care what anybody else would tell you. I just gave you the dalil. There's no obedience to the creation over the creator. So if your husband tells you, he does, first of all, if your husband tells you he don't want you listening to my website, that means he don't want you learning something. Maybe he trying to hide, he want to keep you ignorant. Okay? If this is where you're comfortable at, and everything I teach, everybody knows, even my enemies will tell you she bases everything on the Quran and them hadiths. Even the people that don't like me would tell you, you can't get Layla with them hadiths, man. She'll break them down in a heartbeat. So no, you don't obey him. What about this? Your husband tells you that you cannot be friends with a certain sister because he has heard too many rumors about her character. You must obey him. Is this true or false? This is another question one of the sisters asked. Based on my lecture today, what do you say? Your husband says he does not want you to be friends with a certain sister because there's too many rumors about her character. You must obey him and not be friends with her. Is that true or false? Come on, people.
True, that's true.
Okay, why is that true? And the other one wasn't. Go ahead. Why is it true? Y'all got to explain the answers.
It's true because he can tell you who you could be friends with, but he cannot tell you how to learn your religion.
Exactly. You know, that's his job. His job is to protect you. And character. That's not that's Allah commands him to be careful. To make sure that you're hanging around with righteous people. Character is righteousness of a person's actions. That's not the same as going to an online website to learn your deen from a person that you're not even with physically. All this person is doing is teaching you what Allah said, teaching you what the Prophet said. You're not hanging out with that person. So that's something totally different. So yes, you sisters obey your husbands. Your husband has the right to choose your friends, but he don't have the right to tell you what to learn and how to learn it and screen what you learn. Seeking knowledge is an obligation from Allah. Okay, good job. What about this? Last question. Your husband tells you that you cannot learn from a certain sister because he has heard too many rumors about her character. He cannot find anything wrong with her teachings, but he's heard rumors about her character. You must obey him. Now it gets tricky. Is this true or false? What do y'all think?
I would say that was false because she's teaching the Sunnah and she's teaching the Quran the right way. Her character is not in play. You're not with her in that position.
Exactly.
She's online. She's not in there with you.
MashaAllah.
Can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead. Wait, let me hold on for a second. Let me switch, see if I can switch back. Can I switch back? Allow. Oh, what happened? What am I doing? What do y'all see? Did I do it? Uh-oh. I did.
You still got your PowerPoint.
Oh, the PowerPoint still? Okay, that means I do this. Hold on. What now? What y'all see now?
Just you.
Oh, I fixed it. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm working it. Y'all see Layla getting better. Y'all will see it on YouTube now. Here we go. Hey. Oh, sorry. I get excited. Yeah, who wanted to add something? Go ahead. Somebody else had something to say about that last question? Yes.
I wanted to add that he can't find nothing against her teaching, so there's nothing wrong with it.
Exactly. You know, and this is what you come about. Let me tell you why I came up. There's a sister here that's been coming to my classes for the past 3 months, and her knowledge and understanding of the religion has grown so much. And her husband found out that she was learning from me. You know how he found out? Because she happened to tell him that he wasn't praying correctly. And she told him that he has to go to the mosque to pray. And he got angry at her. He told her that he can pray in congregation at home. And that's when he told her, I don't want you going to Sunnah followers no more. I heard nothing but bad things about lailanasheeba. I heard. Now this brother don't know me. I don't know her husband. How can he tell anyone about my character? He's never met me. He never will, because I don't hang around with trash like that. I don't live in his city, his state, his country, or whatever. How can he tell her about my character? He doesn't know me well enough to know anything about me except I'm that loud woman. I am that loud woman that's been teaching Islam on the internet since 1986. That's the only thing he can say. So how can he tell you about my character when he doesn't know me? There's no obedience to him. My teachings are based on Quran and Sunnah. And even if I did have bad character, what does that have to do with my teachings? I'm not your wife's friend. We don't travel in the same circles. We don't hang out. Do you sisters get it? You sisters are gonna have to start using, all this information that I'm teaching y'all and applying it in your lives. A lot of you are new converts, and your husbands, are afraid. They're afraid that you're gonna learn, like this sister did, things that he's not doing. Your husband should be at the mosque. And like that sister says, she wakes him up. She tells him to go to the mosque to make fajr. That's her job. And look at all the blessings she's getting for doing that. He gets angry and tells her, I don't want you going to Sunnah followers. I don't like that sister. I heard bad things about her. What have you heard about me? You don't know me. You better be careful of slander. We're going to talk about that today in our lawful and unlawful class. You better be careful of the bad things that you say about women, especially women who have devoted their entire lives to the dawah. It's going to come and bite you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, people can go off somewhere. People can talk about my nose ring. They can talk about my eye. They can talk about my tooth. They can talk about my finger. They can talk about my boo, whatever. People going to always talk about you. You can talk about me all you want to. I don't care. It's when you stop talking about, and that's what I teach the kids here. As long as they're talking about you, that means something is right. It's when they stop talking about you that you just start worrying. If I'm a woman of the dawah, if I'm doing anything haram, then I would have the curse of Allah on me. Do y'all think I'd be sitting up here doing something publicly haram so Allah could curse me? If Allah cursed me, then why am I still here? I've been on this internet since 1986, and I've had a lot of deadbeat people come through here with their garbage. I'm still here. Where they at? Where are they? So who cares? Talk about me all you want to. Better check yourself. But that's for the new sisters. You obey your husband. As long as he's not telling you to do something that contradicts what Allah says. In this day and age, in this day and age, in this day and age, seeking knowledge of this deen is super important because it's too many people being punished by Allah. Yeah, well, they can tell Sister Nicola, tell them to go on. Tell them until they can bring forth a verse from the Quran where Allah said Layla going to hell about anything she wears. Tell them they better shut up. Because to say something that Allah didn't say, it's going to bite them in their derriere. Care about ignorant people, what they say about me. If it ain't makeup, it's colors. If it ain't colors, it's your voice. If it ain't your voice, it's a earring, a nose ring. Tell them to bring their dalil, because that's the beauty of Islam. Islam is based on evidence. So if a person is doing something haram, then you should be able to prove it. You should be able to come in here, get on that microphone and say, Layla, it's haram to wear a nose ring. Oh, really? Can I see the hadith? You should be able to give me a hadith or give me a verse in the Quran. If you can't do that, you better shut up and sit down before Allah strike you down. Seriously. And Allah is striking a lot of Muslims now. A lot of Muslims are getting knocked down because Allah is sick of it. He's more sick of it than we are, of people lying on him. Okay? Yeah, they don't know what mutilation means. Look at anyway, guys, I'm going to stop right here, but I think I learned how to work this. We have another class in 10 minutes, my cousin Mukhtar. And for the kids, the Sunnah follower kids, please join Brother Mukhtar's class too. Because being here for his class, because he's speaking about the Battle of the Trench. The Battle of the Trench, which is what we talked about in the Sunnah follower kids class today. So make sure y'all here. Oh, yeah. All right, guys. So I'm going to close out, but I'll log back in 10 minutes, inshallah, with Mukhtar. Is Mukhtar, he joins here, doesn't he? Sister?
Yes.
Okay. Subhanakala humwa bihamdika.